Luna Vance looked out the small window of the shuttle as it flew toward the planet below. Kareth Prime was a world of green forests and tall mountains. 2 suns hung in the sky, making everything glow with golden light. She had never been this far from Earth before. She was 28 years old and had nothing left on Earth. No family, no job, no home. The economic crash had taken everything from her. She had worked as a house cleaner for rich families back home. But when the money disappeared, so did the jobs. The employment agency had found her this position on an alien world, working for a noble family called the Valdris Pack. The Karethi were wolf-like aliens who stood 7 feet tall. They had fur that ranged from brown to gray to white, and their eyes glowed amber in the dark. They lived in packs led by alphas, the strongest among them. Luna had read everything she could find about them during the long journey from Earth. They valued strength and loyalty above all else. They did not trust easily, especially not humans. The shuttle landed on a stone platform at the edge of a massive estate. Luna grabbed her single bag and stepped outside. The air smelled like pine trees and something wild she could not name. Mountains rose behind the main building, their peaks covered in snow. A Karethi female was waiting for her. She was shorter than most of her kind, maybe 6 feet tall, with brown-tipped fur and nervous eyes. "You are the human?" the female asked. A small device on her collar translated her words into English. "Luna Vance, I am here for the household position." The female looked her up and down. "I am Kira. I will take you to meet the alphas." She started walking, then stopped and turned back. "You should know something first. The Alpha Twins have sent away 17 servants in the past year. Some left crying. Some left bleeding. One did not walk out at all." Luna felt a cold feeling in her stomach, but she kept her face calm. "I have worked for difficult people before. Not like these," Kira said quietly. "Cole and Dante Valdris are looking for something. No one knows what. Everyone who tries to please them fails." They walked through long hallways made of dark stone. Paintings and cloth hangings decorated the walls, showing Karethi warriors hunting great beasts. Other Karethi moved past them, some carrying supplies, others simply watching. Every single one of them stared at Luna. She was probably the first human many of them had ever seen up close. The great hall was enormous. The ceiling was so high that Luna could barely see it. Torches burned in iron holders along the walls, and a fire pit sat in the center of the floor. At the far end of the room, on a raised platform, 2 figures waited. The Alpha Twins were unlike any Karethi Luna had seen in pictures. Their fur was pure white like fresh snow. They were identical, standing the same height, with the same sharp features and the same amber eyes. But where one held himself with tense energy, the other seemed relaxed, almost lazy. Luna walked toward them. She felt the weight of many eyes on her back. The entire pack had gathered to watch. "Another one," the tense twin said. His voice was deep and cold. "She will not last a week," the relaxed twin added. He tilted his head, studying her like she was a small animal. "Look at her. Small, weak, human." Luna stopped at the base of the platform. She looked up at them without lowering her eyes. Among the Karethi, lowering your eyes meant you were afraid. Luna was afraid, but she would not show it. "I am not weak," she said, "and I do not break easily." The twins looked at each other. Something passed between them, a silent conversation that only they could understand. When they looked back at her, there was something new in their expressions. Interest, maybe? Or amusement. "I am Cole," the tense one said. He pointed to his brother. "This is Dante. We are the alphas of the Valdris pack. Our mother led this pack for 40 years before she died. Now we must prove ourselves worthy of her memory. The elders think we are too young," Dante said. His voice was lighter than his brother's, but there was an edge to it. They wait for us to fail. They hope for it. Your job, Cole continued, is to manage our household. The cleaning, the cooking, the servants. Everything must run perfectly. If it does not, you will leave. Do you understand? Luna nodded. I understand. Good. Cole waved his hand. Kira will show you to your room. You begin work tomorrow at dawn. Luna followed Kira out of the great hall. She could feel the twins watching her until she disappeared through the doorway. Her room was small but clean. A bed, a table, a chair. A window that looked out over the forest. It was better than the shelter she had been living in back on Earth. Kira stood in the doorway. You did well. You did not show fear. I was afraid, Luna admitted. But you did not show it. That is what matters. Kira hesitated. The last servant who looked them in the eyes ended up in the medical wing for 3 days. Luna sat down on the bed. Why did you tell me that now instead of before? Because if I had told you before, you might not have done it. And it was the right thing to do. Kira almost smiled. Maybe you will last longer than a week. After Kira left, Luna lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. She thought about the twins so young and so burdened. She thought about the pack, watching and waiting for their leaders to fail. She thought about the 17 servants who had come before her. She would not be number 18. Luna closed her eyes and let sleep take her. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. When dawn came, Luna was already awake. She had learned long ago to wake before the sun. In her old life, the family she worked for expected perfection, and perfection required early mornings. She dressed in the simple gray uniform that had been left outside her door and made her way to the kitchen. It was a massive room with stone counters and iron cooking equipment. Several Karethi were already there, preparing food. They all stopped when she walked in. I am Luna, she said. I am the new household manager. No one spoke. No one moved. I am here to help, Luna continued. Tell me what needs to be done. An older Karethi female, her fur gray with age, stepped forward. We do not take orders from humans. I am not giving orders. I am asking how I can help. The old female studied her for a long moment. Then she pointed to a pile of vegetables on the counter. Those need to be cut. The knives are in the drawer. Luna nodded and got to work. By midday, she had earned a small measure of respect. She worked hard, she learned fast, and she did not complain. The kitchen staff still did not trust her, but they no longer ignored her completely. That afternoon, Dante appeared in the kitchen doorway. He watched Luna work for several minutes before speaking. You are still here, he said. Luna did not stop chopping vegetables. I am. Most humans would have given up by now. I am not most humans. Dante made a sound that might have been a laugh. We will see about that. He disappeared as quickly as he had come. But Luna had seen something in his eyes before he left. Something that looked almost like hope. She went back to work. And for the first time since arriving on Karath Prime, she allowed herself to smile. The first week was the hardest of Luna's life. The twins gave her tasks that seemed impossible. They wanted her to fail. They expected her to fail. But Luna had survived worse than difficult employers. On the second day, Cole ordered her to organize the family library. 10,000 scrolls written in 3 different languages sat on dusty shelves in a room the size of a small house. Most servants would have spent months on such a task. Luna had 3 days. She did not sleep that night. She had saved her money for years to buy a neural learning device, a small chip that sat behind her ear and helped her learn new information quickly. She used it now, downloading the basics of the Karethi written language. By morning, she could read well enough to sort the scrolls by subject and date. When Cole came to check on her work, he found the library perfectly organized. Every scroll was in its place. Every shelf was labeled clearly. He said nothing. He simply looked at her with those cold amber eyes and walked away. On the fourth day, Dante gave her a stack of recipes and told her to prepare a formal dinner for 20 guests. Luna read through the recipes and found that they made no sense. The instructions contradicted each other. One recipe called for both ice and fire at the same time. Another demanded ingredients that did not exist. Luna stayed calm. She studied the recipes more carefully and noticed a pattern. The strange instructions were not mistakes. They were codes. Each recipe contained a hidden message, references to family history and pack traditions. The dinner was not just about food. It was a test of whether she could understand the Valdris way of doing things. She prepared the meal according to what the codes really meant. When the guests arrived, they found dishes that honored old family recipes passed down through generations. Dante watched the whole dinner with a strange expression on his face. After the guests left, he found Luna in the kitchen cleaning up. "How did you figure it out?" he asked. "I pay attention," Luna said. "Your family has a long history." The recipes were memories, not just cooking instructions. Dante leaned against the doorframe. "Our mother created those coded recipes. She said that anyone who could understand them would understand our pack. She sounds like she was a wise woman." She was. Dante's voice grew soft. "She died 3 years ago. Everything changed after that." Luna stopped cleaning and looked at him. For a moment, she did not see an alpha. She saw a young man who had lost his mother and was trying to fill shoes too big for him. "I am sorry for your loss," she said. Dante nodded. Once and left without another word. The staff began to accept Luna slowly. She won them over not through strength or dominance, the Karathi way, but through kindness and hard work. When the old cook burned her hand on a hot pot, Luna treated the wound with supplies from her own bag. When a young servant boy broke a valuable vase, Luna took the blame and faced Cole's anger alone. "Why would you protect him?" Cole demanded. "He is nothing. A servant's child." "He is a child who made a mistake," Luna replied. "Children learn from mistakes. They do not learn from punishment that breaks their spirit." Cole stared at her for a long moment. Then he turned and walked away. The vase was never mentioned again. On the 7th night, Luna could not sleep. She walked through the quiet halls of the estate, enjoying the peace. The great house was beautiful at night, with moonlight streaming through tall windows and casting silver shadows on the floor. She found Dante in the kitchen, sitting alone at the large wooden table. A small holographic image floated above the surface, showing a Karathi female with white fur and kind eyes. "Your mother?" Luna asked. Dante's fur stood up in surprise. "You should not be here." "Neither should you. The kitchen is my responsibility between midnight and dawn. Your own house rules." He almost smiled at that. "You learn quickly, human." Luna walked to the counter and began preparing tea, a blend she had brought from Earth. The familiar smell of home filled the room. She poured 2 cups and set one in front of Dante. "What was she like?" Luna asked, sitting across from him. Dante looked at the holographic image. She was everything. Strong but kind. Fierce but fair. She held this pack together through 3 wars and 2 famines. Everyone loved her. He paused. Everyone except the elders who wanted power for themselves. "Do they cause problems for you and Cole?" "Every day." Dante wrapped his hands around the warm cup. "They say we are too young, too hot-headed. They whispered to the pack members, trying to turn them against us. If we show any weakness, they will challenge us for leadership." Luna sipped her tea. "So you push away everyone who might see your weakness. Every servant who might report back to the elders." Dante's eyes met hers. "You understand. I understand fear. I understand trying to protect yourself by pushing people away." Luna set down her cup. I did the same thing after I left the military. You were a soldier? Luna hesitated. She had not meant to say that. The words had slipped out in the quiet comfort of the moment. A long time ago. In another life. Dante studied her with new interest. What happened? I was very good at my job. Too good. I did things that I cannot forget, no matter how hard I try. She looked down at her hands. When I left the service, I wanted to be something different. Someone who created peace instead of war. So I became a maid. I learned to clean and cook and care for homes. You traded weapons for brooms. Something like that. Dante was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed. A real laugh that filled the kitchen with warmth. You are strange, Luna Vance. Very strange. Is that bad? I do not know yet. He stood and picked up the holographic device. Cole should meet you. The real you, I mean. Not the servant who keeps her head down and does her work. The woman who sits in kitchens at midnight and makes tea for lonely alphas. Luna smiled. I will be whoever you need me to be. No, Dante shook his head. Be who you are. That is what we have been looking for. That is what we could never find in 17 other servants. He left the kitchen, taking his mother's image with him. Luna sat alone in the darkness for a long time, thinking about what he had said. The next morning, Cole summoned her to his private office. The room was small and plain, nothing like the grand spaces in the rest of the house. A simple desk held neat stacks of papers and a single photograph of the Valdres family. Dante told me about your conversation, Cole said. Luna stood straight. I apologize if I overstepped. You did not. Cole gestured for her to sit. You were honest with my brother. That is rare. Most people tell us what they think we want to hear. I am not most people. So you keep saying. Cole leaned back in his chair. You were a soldier. What kind? Luna took a breath. Colonial Defense Force, Special Operations Division. Cole's eyebrows rose. Even he, who knew little about human military, recognized that name. You were elite. Why did you leave? Because I could not live with what I had become. Luna met his eyes. I was trained to be a weapon. I was very effective. But weapons do not have a choice in what they do. I wanted to choose. I wanted to be more than what they made me. Cole was silent for a long moment. Outside the window, Luna could hear the sounds of the pack going about their daily work. Finally, he spoke. Stay, he said. Not as a servant. As someone who understands duty and sacrifice. As someone who might help us hold this pack together. Luna felt something warm spread through her chest. I will stay. Cole nodded once. It was enough. That night, Luna ate dinner with the pack for the first time. She sat at the lower tables with the other servants, but she noticed the twins watching her from the high platform. When their eyes met, she saw something new there. Trust. The beginning of trust. She smiled and turned back to her meal. The testing was over. Something new was about to begin. 3 weeks passed. Luna settled into a routine. She woke before dawn, managed the household, solved problems, and earned the respect of more pack members each day. The twins treated her differently now. They asked for her advice. They listened when she spoke. She was no longer just a servant. She was becoming something more. But peace never lasted long on Karath Prime. The attack came on a quiet afternoon. Luna was in the Great Hall, arranging flowers for a ceremony that would take place that evening. The hall was nearly empty. Most of the pack was outside, enjoying the warm weather. Only a few guards stood at the doors. The windows exploded inward. Glass flew everywhere. Luna threw herself behind a stone pillar as masked Karathi poured through the openings. They wore black clothing and carried weapons that glowed with deadly energy. The guards at the doors fell before they could even draw their swords. Luna pressed herself against the pillar and watched. There were at least 20 attackers, maybe more. They moved with military training, spreading out to secure the room. This was not a random attack. This was planned. Cole burst through a side door, alerted by the noise. He had a weapon in his hand, but he was alone. The attackers turned toward him. He fought well, taking down 3 of them before a blast caught him in the shoulder. He fell to the ground, blood soaking his white fur. Something inside Luna broke. No. Something inside. Luna woke up. The neural implant behind her ear. The one she never talked about was not just for learning languages. It was military hardware installed during her years in special operations. It contained combat programs she had sworn never to use again. Programs that turned her into something more than human. She activated them. Time slowed down. Her senses sharpened until she could hear individual heartbeats, smell the fear on the attackers, see the tiny movements that showed where they would strike next. Her body remembered training she had tried to forget. Her hands remembered the feel of weapons and the weakness of flesh. Luna moved. The first attacker never saw her coming. She grabbed his arm, twisted, and took his weapon. Before he could scream, she had used it to take down 2 more. The attackers turned toward this new threat, confused. They had expected servants and soft nobles, not a human woman who moved like death itself. Luna did not give them time to adjust. She flowed through the battle like water, using every piece of training she had ever received. She broke bones. She struck at vulnerable points. She used the attackers' own weapons against them. When one of them knocked her weapon away, she killed him with her bare hands. In less than 3 minutes, 6 attackers were down. The others fled, rushing back through the broken windows. They had come for an easy victory. They had found something else entirely. Luna stood in the center of the great hall, breathing hard. Blood covered her simple gray dress. Her hands were steady, but inside she was shaking. She had promised herself she would never do this again. She had promised herself she was more than a weapon. Cole lay on the floor nearby, holding his shoulder. He was staring at her with wide eyes. Behind her, Luna heard more pack members rushing into the hall, drawn by the sounds of battle. Luna? Cole's voice was barely a whisper. She turned to him and knelt at his side. The wound was serious but not deadly. He would survive. I am here, she said. What are you? Before she could answer, Dante arrived with a group of warriors. He saw the bodies on the floor, the blood on Luna's hands, his brother wounded but alive. He stopped in the middle of the hall and simply stared. She killed them, Cole said. 6 of them. With her bare hands. 3. Luna corrected automatically. I killed 3. The others are just injured. The pack had gathered now, dozens of Karithi filling the hall. They looked at the fallen attackers, at their wounded alpha, at the small human woman covered in blood. No one spoke. No one moved. Kira pushed through the crowd. She looked at Luna and made a sound somewhere between a gasp and a laugh. I knew there was something about you. Dante walked toward Luna slowly, like he was approaching a wild animal. You told me you were a soldier. You did not tell me you were this. I did not want to be this anymore. Luna looked down at her hands. I came here to be a maid, to be peaceful, to prove that I could be more than what they trained me to be. You came here to hide. Luna flinched at the truth in his words. Yes, Cole struggled to sit up. Dante rushed to help him, and together they faced Luna. The twins stood side by side, white fur stained with blood, amber eyes bright with something Luna could not name. You hid your true self, Cole said. But when we needed you, you revealed it. You protected us. I could not let you die. Luna's voice cracked. I could not stand there and do nothing. A servant would have run, Dante said. A coward would have hidden. You fought. The pack watched in silence as the twins exchanged a look. Something passed between them, a decision made without words. They turned back to Luna, and slowly, together, they knelt. Luna's breath caught in her throat. "What are you doing?" "In Karathi law," Cole said, "when someone sheds blood to protect the pack, they earn a place among us. They earn the right to ask for anything." "You saved my life," Dante added. "You saved our pack from those who would destroy us. Name your reward, Luna Vance. Whatever you want is yours." Luna thought about all the things she could ask for. Money, a ship to take her back to Earth, safety and security far from this dangerous world. She could leave right now and never look back. But when she opened her mouth, different words came out. "I want to stay," she said. "I want to keep doing my job. I want to belong here, with you, with this pack." The twins looked at each other again, and then they said the words that would change everything. "We are yours," Cole said. "We are yours," Dante repeated dot around them. The pack held its breath. Luna did not understand. "What does that mean?" Kira stepped forward, her face pale. "They have pledged themselves to you, not as servants to a master, but as equals, as pack members to their pack mother." She swallowed hard. "They have made you family, Luna. They have made you one of the leaders of the Veldris pack." The implications crashed over Luna like a wave. She looked at the twins, still kneeling before her, and saw no doubt in their eyes. No regret, only certainty. "I do not understand your customs," Luna said slowly. "I do not know your laws or your history." "We will teach you," Cole said. "I am human. I am not Karathi." "That does not matter," Dante said. "The pack is more than blood. It is choice. It is loyalty. You chose this when you could have run. You were loyal when you could have saved yourself." Luna felt tears on her cheeks. She had not cried in years, not since leaving the military and burying the person she used to be. But now, standing in a hall full of wolf-like aliens, covered in blood and surrounded by enemies, she wept. "Stand up," she said finally. "Both of you, please." The twins rose. They towered over her, but somehow, in that moment, Luna did not feel small. She felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. "I accept," she said. The pack erupted in howls, a sound that shook the walls and echoed across the mountains. It was a sound of celebration, of recognition, of a new chapter beginning. Luna Vance had come to Korath Prime to be a maid. She was leaving this room as something else entirely, and she had no idea what would happen next. The days after the attack were filled with confusion and change. Luna woke each morning in her small servant's room, but everything else about her life was different. Pack members who had once ignored her now bowed their heads when she passed. Servants who had barely spoken to her asked for her guidance. And the twins treated her as an equal in all things. Kira became her guide through the complicated world of Karathi politics. They sat together in the garden one afternoon, and Kira explained what had really happened. "When an alpha kneels to someone, it is not submission," Kira said. "It is recognition. The twins have named you Pack Mother. In our culture, the Pack Mother stands beside the alphas as their equal. She speaks with their voice. She leads with their authority." Luna shook her head. "I did not ask for this." "That does not matter." The words were spoken before witnesses. "The bond is made." Kira looked at her with serious eyes. "You are Valdris now, Luna, for better or worse." The elders were not happy. They gathered in a meeting room the next day, a group of old Karathi with gray fur and cold eyes. Luna stood before them, with Cole and Dante at her sides. "This is an outrage," said the eldest of them, a male named Tarn. "A human cannot be Pack Mother. It goes against every tradition we have." "Our mother broke traditions when she needed to," Cole replied. "She welcomed humans to work in our homes when others refused." She traded with Earth when others feared it. And look what that has brought us, another elder said. Attacks in our own hall. Enemies bold enough to strike at our alphas. Those enemies were Kurathy, Dante said sharply. The attackers wore our fur and spoke our language. This was not an outside threat. This was betrayal from within. The room went silent. Luna watched the elders exchange nervous glances. They knew something. She was sure of it. The investigation will continue, Torrens said finally. But the matter of the human remains. She cannot lead our pack. Luna stepped forward. I do not want to replace your traditions. I want to learn them. I want to serve this pack as best I can. She looked at each elder in turn. Your alphas chose me. Will you dishonor their choice? Torrens' eyes narrowed. You speak boldly for a servant. I am not a servant anymore. Your alphas made sure of that. The meeting ended without resolution. The elders could not undo what the twins had done, but they made their displeasure clear. Luna left the room knowing she had made powerful enemies. Over the following weeks, challenges came from outside the pack as well. 3 rival packs sent warriors to test Luna's claim. By Kurathy law, she could not refuse these challenges without bringing shame to the Valdris name. I will fight in your place, Cole offered. No, Luna shook her head. If I am to be pack mother, I must prove myself. Hiding behind you will only make me look weak. The first challenge came from a warrior named Scar, a massive male from the Ironwood pack. He stood 8 feet tall, with muscles that rippled under dark brown fur. The fight took place in a ritual circle before hundreds of witnesses. Scar laughed when he saw Luna enter the circle. This is the human who defeated armed assassins. She is smaller than my youngest pup. Luna did not respond. She simply waited. Scar attacked with savage force, claws extended, teeth bared. He was fast for his size. He was strong enough to tear a human apart with a single blow. But Luna was faster. She ducked under his swing, struck his knee, and rolled away before he could recover. When he charged again, she used his own weight against him, throwing him to the ground. Before he could rise, her foot was on his throat. Yield, she said. He yielded. The second and third challenges ended the same way. Luna fought with precision and speed, never using more force than necessary, never injuring her opponents beyond what was needed to win. By the time the third challenger admitted defeat, the watching crowds were chanting her name. But it was the quiet moments that mattered most to Luna. The afternoons when Cole taught her to read Kurathy body language, pointing out the small movements that showed trust or fear or anger. The evenings when Dante shared stories about their mother, describing the woman who had held the pack together for so many years. The nights when all 3 of them sat together on the observation deck, watching the twin suns set behind the mountains. Why did you really kneel? Luna asked them one such evening. Cole was quiet for a moment. Then he said, because you were the first person in 3 years who looked at us and saw something worth saving. Because you chose to stay, Dante added. Everyone leaves us, Luna. Our mother died. The elders turned against us. Every servant we hired ran away or was driven away. But you stayed. You wanted to belong. Luna felt tears in her eyes again. I have never belonged anywhere. Not really. Not since I left the military. You belong here now. Cole's hand found hers, warm and careful. You belong with us. If you want to, Dante said quickly. We would never force you to be something you do not want to be. If you wish to leave, we will not stop you. If you wish to stay as only a friend, that is enough. Luna looked at their faces, so young and yet so burdened with responsibility. She thought about the life she had left behind on Earth, the empty rooms she had cleaned for people who never learned her name, the loneliness that had followed her from world to world. And she thought about what it felt like to be here, in this place. With these two brothers, who had somehow become the most important people in her universe, she kissed Dante first. It was gentle and sweet, like the first rays of morning sun. Then she kissed Cole, and that was different, fierce and full of promise. "I choose both of you," she said. "I choose this pack. I choose this life." The twins held her between them, their white fur soft against her skin. For the first time in longer than she could remember, Luna felt whole. Later that night, Kira found her in the hallway outside her room. The brown-furred female was practically bouncing with excitement. "Everyone is talking about it," Kira said. "The whole pack knows. They say the alphas have found their mate at last." "Their mate?" Luna asked. "Pack Mother is more than a political title. It is a bond of heart and soul." Kira grinned. "You truly do not understand our ways, do you?" "I am learning. Learn faster. The bonding ceremony must happen within the month. There are traditions to observe, rituals to perform." Kira grabbed her hand. "Come, we have much to prepare." Luna let herself be pulled along, her head spinning with everything that had changed. A month ago, she had been a homeless refugee taking any job she could find. Now she was about to be formally bonded to two alien alphas and recognized as the leader of one of the most powerful packs on Karath Prime. Life was very strange. Sometimes, but as she followed Kira through the moonlit halls, passing pack members who smiled and nodded at her, Luna could not help but feel that maybe, just maybe, this was exactly where she was supposed to be all along. She had spent years running from herself, running from her past, running from the weapon she had been trained to be. Now, finally, she had found something worth staying for. The investigation into the attack on the Valdris compound took 3 weeks. Luna worked with Cole and Dante every day, going through evidence, interviewing witnesses, tracing the source of the weapons used by the attackers. What they found was worse than anyone had expected. The conspiracy reached the highest levels of Karethi Society. High Elder Varric was the oldest and most powerful member of the Planetary Council. He had led the government for 50 years, guiding Karath Prime through its first contact with humans and the treaties that followed. Everyone trusted him. Everyone respected him. And he had ordered the attack on the Valdris Pack. The evidence was clear. Financial records showed payments to the assassins. Communication logs revealed planning sessions going back months. Testimony from captured attackers confirmed that Varric had promised them power and position in exchange for eliminating the Valdris leadership. Why? Luna asked, looking at the mountain of evidence spread across the table. Why would he do this? Fear, Cole said. Varric belongs to the old ways. He believes humans are corrupting our species, making us weak, diluting our warrior heritage. The Valdris Pack was the first to welcome human workers, Dante added. If he could destroy us, he could use our fall as an example. He could turn public opinion against all human presence on Karath Prime. Luna understood. Varric was not just attacking one pack. He was attacking the entire future of human Karathi relations. If he succeeded, decades of progress would be destroyed. We have to stop him, she said. The confrontation happened in the Great Council chamber, before the assembled leadership of the entire planet. Hundreds of pack leaders and elders filled the curved benches. Holographic cameras broadcast the proceedings to every city on Karath Prime. Luna walked into the chamber, wearing the formal robes of a Valdris Pack Mother. The white fabric was embroidered with silver, matching the fur of her bondmates who walked at her sides. She could feel every eye in the room on her. She could hear the whispers spreading through the crowd. A human, leading a Karethi pack, standing before the council as an equal. High Elder Varric sat at the center of the council platform, his gray fur perfectly groomed, his expression calm and controlled. He looked at Luna with undisguised contempt. What is this? He asked, "Why has a human been allowed into these chambers?" "By right of blood and bond," Cole said. "Luna Vance is pack mother of the Valdris. She has every right to stand before this council. She is an abomination," Varek said. "A pollution of our sacred traditions." Luna stepped forward. Her voice was steady. "High Elder Varek, I charge you with conspiracy to commit murder, violation of the peace treaties between Earth and Kareth, and treason against your own people." The chamber erupted. Varek's supporters shouted in anger. His opponents demanded silence. Guards moved to maintain order as the noise grew to a roar. Varek raised his hand, and gradually the room quieted. "These are serious accusations. Do you have proof, human?" "I do." Luna presented her evidence. Financial records appeared on the holographic displays. Communications played for all to hear. Captured attackers gave testimony. Each piece built upon the last, creating an unbreakable chain that led directly to Varek's office. When she finished, the chamber was silent. Varek stood. His calm had cracked, and behind it, Luna could see rage burning. "This evidence was manufactured. The human has deceived you all. She has used her position to gain access to our systems, to corrupt our—" "The evidence was verified by 5 independent sources," Dante interrupted, "including 3 of your own allies on the council." Luna looked at the elders who had opposed her in the Valdris meeting room. They would not meet her eyes. They had already been shown the proof. They had already chosen their side. "You fear humans," Luna said, addressing not just Varek but everyone in the chamber. "You fear what we represent. A species that rose from nothing, that conquered its home world, then reached for the stars, that refuses to break no matter how many times it is bent." She walked to the center of the chamber, standing alone before hundreds of Karathi leaders. "I was a soldier once. I have killed more beings than I want to remember. And then I tried to be something else. Something peaceful. Something kind. I became a maid because I wanted to prove that humans could be more than warriors. That we could serve without losing our dignity. That we could be gentle without being weak." She turned to look at Cole and Dante, her heart full of love for them. "Your alphas knelt to me not because I defeated them in battle, but because I chose them. Because I saw their pain and their potential and their desperate need to be seen. That is what humans do, Elder Varek. We see people. We love without limits and fight without surrender. And we never, ever give up on the ones we have claimed as our own." The vote came quickly. One by one, the pack leaders raised their hands against Varek. Even those who had supported him for decades could not ignore the evidence. When the counting was done, the result was unanimous. Varek was stripped of his position. His assets were seized. He was sentenced to exile on a barren moon at the edge of Karethi space. As guards led him away, he looked at Luna with pure hatred. "This is not over," he said. "My followers will continue the work. Humans will never truly belong among us." Luna met his gaze without fear. "You are wrong. We already belong. And nothing you or anyone else does will change that." The guards took him away, and a new chapter began. The changes came quickly after that. Human workers were welcomed across Kurth Prime. New treaties were signed between Earth and the Karethi government, establishing protections for both species. Cultural exchange programs brought thousands of humans and Karathi together, building friendships that would last generations. Luna helped draft many of the new laws. She sat on councils and committees, her voice respected even by those who had once opposed her. Cole and Dante ruled the Valdris Pact together, as they always had, but now their leadership was tempered by something softer. Something human. 5 years passed. Luna stood on the observation deck one morning, watching the twin suns rise. Beside her, Dante held a small Karithi cub, while Cole helped 2 human children point out shapes in the clouds. The children were orphans from Earth, adopted into the Valdris family. The cub belonged to Kira, who had married a warrior from a neighboring pack and was now visiting with her new family. "Do you ever regret it?" Dante asked, shifting the cub to his other arm. "Regret what?" Luna replied. "Becoming a maid? Staying? Choosing you too? Any of it? All of it?" Luna thought about the question. She thought about the person she had been, broken and lost, running from a past she could not escape. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, to this world, to these people, to this life that she had never imagined was possible. "Not for a single moment," she said. "Not ever." Cole came to stand beside her, the human children running off to play with other pack youngsters. He put his arm around her waist, and Dante moved closer on her other side. "Our mother would have loved you," Cole said quietly. "She would have been so happy to see this," Dante agreed. "The pack, stronger than ever. Our people and yours, working together. Children growing up without fear." Luna leaned into their warmth, feeling the sun on her face and the mountain wind in her hair. Below, on the estate grounds, humans and Korethi moved together in easy harmony. Servants and warriors, workers and children. A community built on respect and understanding. "I came here to be a maid," Luna said. "I expected to clean floors and wash dishes. I never imagined any of this. Life is strange," Dante said. "The universe has a sense of humor," Cole added. Luna laughed. It was a free and joyful sound that echoed across the mountains. The children below looked up and waved, and she waved back. She had spent so many years running. From her past. From her pain. From the weapon she had been trained to be. She had believed that she needed to hide her true self, that the darkness inside her made her unworthy of love or belonging. She had been wrong. The twins had seen her darkness and loved her anyway. The pack had accepted her, human and strange and different as she was. She had found a home not by hiding who she was, but by letting her true self shine above them. The twin suns rose higher, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. It was the beginning of another day on Korath Prime. Another day of peace. Another day of family. Another day of belonging. And Luna Vance, once a soldier, once a maid, now pack mother of the Valdris, would not trade it for anything in the universe. The end.